Let's look at two different causes of neck pain. And when we do these videos, I don't want you to think of this as a diagnosis of a specific problem for what's going on with you. We're going to talk about it in pretty general terms, and I'm going to give you examples. And my hope with these examples and explanations is that it gets you to start to shift the way you're thinking about movement pain. Okay? The typical understanding of it that I've come across is that I hurt because I have a single isolated part of my body that's broken. And I want you to shift out of that way of thinking about it, and I want you to think instead about how your whole body is moving. The basic principle that governs this kind of explanation is this. You ask your body to do something, and your body does it. And how you get from here to here is entirely up to your nervous system to delegate responsibility to different moving parts. And what tends to happen is sometimes one part does not come through. And your body doesn't stop and have a conversation with the part. It's like at the central command center, we're calling the shoulder, and the shoulder's not responding. So let's rotate the spine to do what the shoulder should have done. It happens instantaneously, the substitution of one moving part for another. But when it happens on an ongoing chronic basis, you start to get all kinds of funky wear and tear on the body because parts are doing the wrong job. And your body is constantly reassigning, substituting, and delegating in a way that just helps you get from asking your body to do it and your body coming through. So we want to look at a couple examples that live in the middle here that give you a feel for sort of how some of these substitutions come about. And we're going to look at two. The first one, when you're talking about neck pain, has to do with how the whole column of the neck works in terms of rotation. And what you'll find is all 7 vertebrae of the neck have the capacity to rotate. But sometimes 1 or 2 of them don't move. So think about this for a second. If you think about the middle of the neck freezing, and I'm going to turn my head this way. If they're all going along, the bottom rotates, the middle rotates, the top rotates, and the top probably has some capacity to turn more, so you turn the head to the side. Now, think about it again. You're going to get the head from here to here. You're going to go ahead and rotate, but this time the middle and the bottom stop moving here. So now, from the top, you start to pull, you start to turn, and all of a sudden you're not doing pure rotation, you're tugging on the neck to tilt this way and distorting the whole thing. And so you're creating a pull in this part of the neck and on these muscles that if everything else was moving the way it was supposed to, just wouldn't come about. So that's a really simple mechanical example. What gets fascinating, though, is that sometimes, in the case of your neck pain, it has more to do with your eyes and what your eyes should be doing. So, for example, you look at something in the distance. Now, this is all going to happen before you're even aware of it, but you look up and see something coming in. What should happen is that your eyes should move to focus on something. So the two eyes have to work together to create the right depth perception to see what's coming at you in space. But what happens if this eye won't move into focus with the other one? Guess what? Your body doesn't stop and ask it why it's not responding. It's going to turn your head a little bit. It's going to try to bring that eye into the correct position, and this one will come around and move and respond and try to set up that same focal distance. Or think about it even a little bit more, carry this out for a second. If you're tracking something and moving the eyes all around, and the eyes are designed to do all these tiny little movements very quickly, what happens if one of the eyes isn't responding? If you need to do that, one of the things that's going to happen is all of a sudden your neck's going to try to do all the tiny little movements that your eye was supposed to be doing to position this eye that's not moving the way it should. And guess what? Those neck muscles aren't designed to do the same thing as the eye muscles that are trying to move around. So all of a sudden you have the relatively bigger muscles of the neck trying to do a degree of finesse and control that these tiny little muscles in the eyes are supposed to be doing. So you've gone from substituting one part that is responsible for all this fine little detail to another bigger, thicker, less mobile part. And do you think that's going to hurt the neck to Try to substitute movement for the eyes all the time? Absolutely. So in both these cases, if you think about, oh, my neck hurts, there's something wrong with this muscle or this neck, you've really got it backwards. You had, in one case, other vertebrae that weren't moving the way they were supposed to, and in another case, an eye that wasn't moving the way it was supposed to. In both cases, the part of the body that hurt because it was trying to do something that another part of the body was falling down on and not doing. So this idea of substituting movement from one part to another is going to turn you away from blaming these isolated, hurting parts of the body and stepping back and looking at bigger, broader movement patterns and understanding, how do I bring all the correct pieces in line to accomplish what I'm trying to do, even if it's a reflexive thing like focusing the eyes at different distances. And that's going to lead you into much better insight about why your body hurts and how to change it by re-educating other parts of the body to move the way they were designed to do.